Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My name is Janine Kuriger, and I'm the new head of the section Water at SDC, the Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation. I have the honor and pleasure of being your moderator of this session today. Let me start by welcoming you to this morning's sessions that proposes to delve into the Middle Eastern chapter of a Swiss diplomatic initiative entitled Blue Peace Middle East. That fits well into the theme of this year's World Water Week, which is Bridging Borders, Water for a Peaceful and Sustainable Future. Indeed, Blue Peace Middle East is based on a set of projects and programs providing support at multiple levels to promote water cooperation across borders, sectors and generations to foster peace, stability and sustainable development, as we will see shortly in a brief presentation video. The short video will be followed by two interventions from the floor. First, a keynote speech by Engineer Maysoon Al-Soubi, who is online with us and who is chair of the Blue Peace Middle East's Managing Committee. And then a presentation by Dr. Ertuğ Ersin, Chief Technical Officer at Water Footprint Implementation, of a regional study that was conducted in the framework of the Blue Peace Middle East Water, Energy, Food and Ecosystem Nexus, activities on water footprint and virtual trade assessments in the region. After these two speeches, we will move on to the session's main course, if I may so, which is the panel discussions bringing together representatives from different countries in the region covered by Blue Peace Middle East. The objective is to gain a deeper understanding of how cooperation and peace are built, recognizing that solutions go well beyond the water sector, calling for a holistic approach. Ladies and gentlemen, after the panel discussions, you will have the opportunity to ask questions and interact with our speakers and panelists. Our session is scheduled to last until 10:30 a.m. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to watch the short presentation film on Blue Peace Middle East.
Water, the essence of life. In the Middle East, for millennia, it has shaped our civilizations, our conflicts, and our cooperation. It is a precious resource that can divide nations or unite them. This is the story of how water is becoming a force for peace. The Middle East region is home to 6% of the world's population, with only 1% of the world's freshwater resources, and more than 60% of our population lives in areas of high water stress, nearly double the global average. Today, our region faces unprecedented water challenges. Climate change, population growth, complex geopolitical dynamics, and outdated infrastructure threaten our water security. But where some see conflict, we see opportunity. Without cooperation, competition over dwindling water resources threaten to fuel conflicts and instability across the region. But there is another path, one of dialogue, shared management, and mutual benefits. This is why Blue Peace Middle East was established, to transform water from a source of potential conflicts into a catalyst for cooperation and peace. Blue Peace Middle East is a groundbreaking initiative, the first of its kind regionally owned platform, with the vision of using the power of water to build a peaceful future for the region through fostering dialogue, capacity building, and concrete actions across borders, sectors, and generations. In 2010, Blue Peace Middle East was born, jointly launched by the Strategic Foresight Group, the Swedish International Development Cooperation Agency, and the Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation. From 2011 to 2018, we focused on building a diverse Blue Peace community in the Middle East, bringing together senior policymakers, government officials, academic experts, parliamentarians, and media professionals from our member countries to broaden our perspective and learn from global best practices. We embarked on enlightening study tours. Our community visited the Rhine, Mekong, Senegal, and Nile River basins, gaining invaluable insights into successful transboundary water management models. Since 2016, the Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation became our exclusive donor, and in 2018, the initiative started transitioning to a regionally owned mechanism. What began as an externally supported endeavor has evolved into a regionally owned platform for dialogue and action. In January 2019, we entered a new era. The regional mechanism officially took over governance of the Blue Peace Middle East, marking a shift to greater regional ownership. Blue Peace Middle East is built on 3 tiers. Our Policy Advisory Committee, chaired by His Royal Highness Prince Al-Hassan bin Talal of Jordan, provides high-level guidance and links the initiative to regional decision makers. The Managing Committee, comprising water experts from Iraq, Jordan, Lebanon, and Turkey, drives our initiatives by setting priorities and identifying activities. They are our engine. And our coordination office, who brings it all together by providing continuous facilitation and executive support. From 2019 to 2022, our coordination office was hosted at the Turkish Water Institute, marking a significant phase in our evolution. We conducted a comprehensive study on agricultural water use efficiency, trained journalists on water issues through our media lab, and made significant strides in research and capacity building in shared river basins. Our key achievements included the Yarmouk Futures Program, the Tigris Monitoring Project, and the establishment of the Water Diplomacy Center at the Jordan University of Science and Technology. We also supported water and sanitation entrepreneurs. This phase, with its diverse projects and initiatives, laid a strong foundation for regional cooperation and set the stage for our expanded focus in the years to come. In 2023, Blue Peace Middle East entered an ambitious new phase, with the Coordination Office moving to Inter-Islamic Network on water resources development and management in Jordan. We broadened our focus to embrace the water, energy, food ecosystem nexus, addressing regional challenges more comprehensively, and expanded our geographical reach to Iran and Syria. Our new phase launched with a high-profile event in Amman, bringing together key stakeholders from across the region. Integral to our mission is the Water Diplomacy Center at Jordan University of Science and Technology, which serves as our research and education arm. The Water Diplomacy Center enhances our impact through specialized courses and workshops, higher education fellowships, and vital research on transboundary water issues. Their research repertoire is diverse and impactful. Milestone is the launch of the region's first master's program in water diplomacy. Study tours and field visits form a cornerstone of this phase, from the Jordan Valley to Turkey's Kiraz, Suludure, and Wadiana River Basin. Our community has witnessed real-world application of WIFI Nexus principles. These experiences have provided invaluable insights into innovative water storage and management techniques, while showcasing successful models of transboundary water cooperation. Our 12th Managing Committee meeting in Izmir, Turkey, marked a pivotal moment for strategic planning. This, coupled with our participation in the Baghdad International Water Conference, reinforced our position as key players in regional water diplomacy. These events provided platforms to articulate our vision for a water-secure Middle East, forge new partnerships, and cement our role as leaders in fostering dialogue for transboundary water cooperation. A significant addition to our portfolio is the Youth Fellowship Program, designed to empower the next generation of future leaders. It is also the first of its kind program in the region, aimed at equipping young professionals with the knowledge and skills to address future water challenges through a WIFI Nexus lens. 6 brilliant young professionals from Iran, Iraq, Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, and Turkey came together for an intensive 5-month journey that went beyond traditional learning, offering a transformative experience that bridged cultures and reshaped perspectives on water management and diplomacy. But the real impact came from the bonds formed. Living and working together, these young leaders from different backgrounds discovered shared values and common goals, national stereotypes gave way to mutual understanding and collective vision for the region's water future. The program end outcome was a collaborative WIFI Nexus pilot project proposal for Iraq, a testament to their newfound ability to create practical transboundary solutions. This youth fellowship is more than an educational initiative. It's our investment in the future, a catalyst for change, fostering a new generation of water leaders committed to cooperation and innovation. These young professionals are now ambassadors for a future where water unites rather than divide the Middle East. Producing knowledge is fundamental at this phase, as we concluded a comprehensive regional water footprint assessment and soon a regional WIFI baseline study. Our media engagement has expanded with the establishment of a regional water exchange hub, fostering innovation and engagement among journalists and media professionals in water-related reporting and advocacy across the region. As we look ahead, we're moving from dialogue to action. Our upcoming pilot project will demonstrate the power of the WIFI Nexus approach on ground, paving the way for broader regional cooperation and sustainable water management. Blue Peace Middle East is more than an initiative. It's a movement, a vision for a peaceful and prosperous region. Join us in turning the tide, transforming water from a source of tension to a force for cooperation. Together, we can build a blue peace for generations to come.
So I hope you gained some insights and understanding of what the Blue Peace Middle East initiative is all about. I would like now to invite engineer Maysoon Al-Soubi to share with us some of her experiences and some of the activities and exchanges that take place as part of the Blue Peace Middle East initiative. Engineer Maysoon Al-Soubi, who is attending us online from Jordan, is a water diplomacy expert and the chairwoman of the managing committee of the Blue Peace Middle East. Engineer Al-Soubi holds a master's degree in civil engineering, specializing in water demand management from the Jordan University of Science and Technology, and has over 27 years experiences in water resources and utilities management in the Middle East. Mrs. Al-Soubi, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good morning. Dear colleagues, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Managing Committee of the Blue Peace Middle East Regional Mechanism, I'm delighted to welcome you all at this important session. The Blue Peace Middle East initiative was set up in 2010 to work toward regional recognition of water resources as a potential source of socio-economic development and peace. Through a combination of political and technical dialogue, which were supported by concrete data collection, knowledge exchange, and capacity building projects, the Blue Peace program was the first and to date only effort in the region to foster regional exchange, understanding, and conflict prevention. We are grateful to the Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation for their continued commitment to the Blue Peace Middle East initiative. With your support, we hope to continue strengthening the relationship over the coming years and to contribute to the objectives of the global Blue Peace movement to encourage water cooperation, aiming borders, sectors, and generation to foster peace, stability, and sustainable development. Today, I'm pleased to introduce a significant new study commissioned by Blue Peace Middle East, a comprehensive water footprint assessment for our region. This innovative research, conducted by leading experts, provides crucial data and insight on water consumption patterns, virtual water trade, and water dependencies across key sectors in our countries. Why did Blue Peace Middle East commission this study? As water professional and policymakers, we recognize that addressing our region's water challenges require moving beyond a siloed focus on water alone. We must understand the complex interconnections between water, energy, food, and ecosystems. The water footprint assessment takes an integrated approach, examining not just direct water use, but also virtual water embedded in the goods and we produce and trade. It reveals important realities about how water flows between our countries through agriculture and industrial supply chains. The study's findings on external water dependencies and virtual water trade highlights opportunities for enhancing regional cooperation. They demonstrate how our water and food security are interlinked and how regional solutions can benefit us all. Crucially, this research provides an evidence base to inform more holistic, sustainable policies. It can guide us in optimizing water use efficiency, aligning agriculture production with water resources, and enhancing food security through strategic trade relationships. Moving forward, Blue Peace Middle East will use these insights to enhance regional cooperation and capacities, inform our activities within the Wi-Fi Nexus program, and implement pilot projects demonstrating the interdependencies of water, food, energy, and ecosystem resources. As we transition to hearing the detailed study result, I encourage us all to consider how these insights can strengthen transboundary cooperation and integrated resource management across the water, energy, food ecosystem nexus. Together, we can turn these findings into actions, building a more water secure and peaceful Middle East. The complex water challenges we face respect no borders. Neither should our solutions. It is my hope that this study will catalyze new dialogues and collaborations, action to enhance water security and foster peace across our shared river basin and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Engineer Maysoon Al-Soubi, for this interesting and inspiring speech. I think you already nicely introduced actually the study, and I would like now, without further ado, give the floor to Dr. Ertuğ Ersin. He is Senior Water and Climate Expert, and he has conducted on behalf of the Water Footprint Implementation, which is a spin-off of the Water Footprint Network, a recent study that was just mentioned on water footprint and virtual water trade assessment for Blue Peace Middle East. So Dr. Ertuğ is joining us online from the Netherlands, and we are looking forward to get more insight into this interesting study. The floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I hope everyone can hear me well. First of all, I would like to thank you for Blue Peace Middle East and for having this opportunity to give us about this study and then the results. The interest was with different stakeholders were really encouraging for the water diplomacy, and we hope that this study will be useful to everyone. I will share my screen and just start with it. Of course, I would like to thank my colleagues who are helping me in this study, is Chara, Yurian, and Iona. They're not here at this moment. I'm also presenting the study on behalf of them. So maybe just brief recap, what is water footprint? And for the people who doesn't know, I assume many people know it, that is just it's about coming from the question how much water we need for our production and consumption activities. Every activity, every service of product needs either visible or virtual, which is not visible but embedded inside the product, needs a certain amount of water. And the idea of water footprint is introduced by Professor Hoekstra in 2000s, early 2000s, and then it's coming from this idea how much water we need for production and consumption and daily activities that we have. It's more formal definitions as briefly, it refers to the total amount of water consumed and polluted, and it has three components: the blue, green, and gray. Blue means if you use surface water or groundwater, we call it blue water footprint. And it's about water scarcity. It's about the surface water flows and groundwater flows. And green water, it's about the rainwater, more specifically, more soil water used. I think this is a well-known concept by everyone in the room probably. And this is really relevant to agriculture and forestry. And it's about drought, more on drought-related vulnerabilities, shows, and risks. And this is water consumption, water part of the water footprint. And there's a water pollution part, which is the gray. I'm not going into detailed technical definitions. If you have any questions, please let me know. Here we talk about water consumption, not the water withdrawal. And so that's my some figures or some insights might be different than what you expect or what you can foresee. And so we're talking about not how much you withdraw from the source, but how much you consumed for the activity, which is, of course, is different because of the system losses of management losses. What is the scope of the project? This is not the first time, of course, about a water footprint study done for the region or the regional countries. There are several studies. And also we know that Tony Allen introduced the virtual water looking for the water problems in this region. And so it's what we look at is actually we really wanted to have a one looking for these 6 countries, which is Iran, Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, and Turkey, and in a coherent, in a systematic, and in a one uniform data sets, and which is updated till 2021. So previous studies are stopping in between, I think, at the moment till 2013 or 15. And then we said, okay, what has happened in the region? Can we have a uniform data set? Can we look at this, which will give us the comparison of different practices about agricultural water footprint efficiencies, and then and also how is virtual water trade, which means that the trade embedded within the products, water embedded in the products that's traded between these countries changed. How was it before? How is it now? And also between the region and the world. So we also included the agriculture, but also the energy production, which is a significant economic activity there in the region. Hydropowers and natural gas power and petrol as well. So briefly, it is like this. And so what is a product, for example, if a tomato is grown in Jordan, in this project, we look at this, how much water is consumed and the irrigation, and also from the rainwater use, soil moisture water use in the total. And if there's a byproduct, also the manufacturing product, for example, if you're talking about a ketchup produced from a tomato in Jordan, we also include the manufacturing phase water used in the size as well. We look at this 2 dimensions, which is total in a year, which is in a meter cube, which gives us how much is total withdrawn from the resource in an annual year. So this is also about the sustainability, or more about how much resource you use, about the scarcity, about the need in total amounts. But we also look at the efficiencies like productivities, water productivities, and water footprint is the inverse of water productivity. And look at this in the sense, and it is meter cube per ton of product that is produced. This helped us comparison of the same product across different countries. And so the question was, okay, if my neighbor uses this amount of water, am I in a water efficient or productive, use my water productively? Is it in a uniform way? And we try to understand why there is a difference between different areas that are close to each other. And briefly, what is virtual water trade? For example, if Lebanon buys some products from Jordan, and these agricultural products have virtually embedded water inside them while they're produced. And Lebanon, through this trade activity, imports water. We call it this virtual water import. At the same time, Lebanon sells some products to Jordan briefly. And then these products also have some water embedded, used from water resources in Lebanon. And through this trade of products, Lebanon virtually exports some water to Jordan, as we call it, virtual water export. So for you to understand briefly the outcomes of the results. And this is a very comprehensive and long study, more than 100 pages. And I'm really giving a couple of brief outlines and outcomes in 15 minutes. You can read the study as well. And I don't know if it's available or not, but if you have any questions or more in-depth knowledge, let me know afterwards. This is data sources. We modeled everything by ourselves for this project to make it a 2021, but also we use international database for the trade statistics, for water statistics, and also we use other publications from scientific published papers to use some data sets there. So it's approximately in the region for the 6 countries, approximately the water footprint of production, which is for the agricultural energy, total water used for approximately 16 billion meter cube per year. And from the blue-green gray perspective, most of it is green, which is around 50%. Blue water footprint is 33%, and 17% of this total water footprint production is around related to gray water footprint, which is pollution. And if you look at the green part, and let me go back, the green is really related to agriculture. So the 50% of this use is really related for the green water footprint is related to agricultural activities. But when we look at the blue water footprint, is again crop production, agricultural activities takes 82% of the blue water footprint, energy 17%, and domestic and industrial water use in the region. Consumption water footprint is relatively small, 0.4% of the total water footprint of production. And the gray is again crop water footprint is the highest, then followed by domestic and industry. Here I have to say we didn't include the energy gray water footprint related to energy because of the lack of data. Unfortunately, there is no such data available. So that's what is excluded in this study, where you don't see it here. And if look at the countries, Turkey is the most green water footprint, which is this most rain-fed agriculture is happening there, followed by Iran and Syria. Of course, why these 2 countries, Turkey and Iran, shows most of the water footprint, because they are largest producers, they have area, they are agricultural hubs in the region compared to other countries, Lebanon, Jordan, Iraq, and Syria. And if you look at this on the comparison in the green water footprint of production, Turkey has the largest share, but if you look at the blue water footprint, Iran has the largest share, which shows the dynamics of the region. Iran is more on irrigated water abstraction based agriculture is based on, but in Turkey it's more rain-fed and then based agriculture. So you get the comparison of that. Iran has the largest share in blue water footprint of production among these 6 countries. And if you look at this gray water footprint, is both Turkey and then Iran has the equal share. And afterwards in Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Jordan. Which products are important? Crops, of course, what I'm talking about here is that for the green water footprints, the largest share is related to wheat, then followed by barley, olives, and hazelnuts. These are the major crops that are produced on rain-fed in the region. Of course, there are so many. We look at it, almost 150 crops, different type of crops, but these are the most significant ones. And if you look at this blue water footprint perspective, the wheat, rice, cotton, pistachios, apples, and other crops, of course, there are so many crops that are irrigated in the region. But these are the most dominant crops, and these are the key crops in the region, what we call it them. If you look at this per meter cube per ton from the water footprint of efficiency perspective of the crops, different crops in the region, we'll look at all these crops, but I'll give you 4 of them. So what you can see, there's a general trend. In Iran, the blue water footprint share is higher always. And in Iran, water footprint per ton of crop is usually the highest. And if you go to the Turkey, is more green and is for footprint more green share is the largest in Turkey for the crops, and it's also is slowing down, which means they produce more efficient. Of course, there are several reasons because of that. First of all, agroclimatic zone differences, and of course, evapotranspiration differences in the regions. And so what this trend is really is seen almost in all crops in when we look at compared to the same crops across the regions. If you look at to the energy one, Iran is dominating because Iran is a dominant energy producer. In Turkey is more hydropower, and Iran is more natural gas and other sources. And Iran has the largest blue water footprint of energy production in the region. And if you look at this, which one is that? It is more natural gas. The second one is oil. This is more, of course, in Iran and Iraq, and in hydro and coal, and it's more also in Turkey and other countries as well, which is more dominant. These are the word about what production. So when we look at this, this is among the this region and the other countries in the world, rest of the world. So what these countries import is related to green-rich water trade, which means that actually wheat, soybean, maize, and sunflower. These are interesting because if you look at the studies that are done almost 10, 15 years ago, which when the water footprint and rich water studies are really are popular and more at the start of this kind of studies, is that the difference is that the rich water import amounts are largely increased in this region, which was a surprise for us as well. For example, soybean, you didn't see it before, but you see it recently. Why? Because of the feed supply. The need for the feed supply for the region is really, rather than locally produced, soybean imports from South America and US are largely increased in this region last 5-6 years, actually. Say, the wheat is actually, the region has more now to feed this population rather than more producing themselves, is actually importing the crops that are from other countries like Russia and Ukraine. And this is new recent trend for the region that we have seen. And the maize, sunflower, and palm oil and cacao are, of course, for other purposes that are related to green shoppers. Where are they coming from? Russia, Ukraine type of, this is for really related to wheat. And you can see that this Brazil, Argentina, and US and these are really the soybean areas that are coming to here. So what you can see from sense from here is that it's about the food calorie intake of the region, which is externalized in terms of the water needs. Of course, when you look at this, if a drought happens, or if something else happens in this country, which these crops are imported, and a climatic shock or scarcity happens, which means that the food security in the region can be jeopardized or can be more sensitive. When we look at the blue visual imports, which are related to water resources, surface water, groundwater, is the cotton. It is also surprising because ultimately this region, Turkey, particularly in Syria, and you can look at, there are lots of cotton production, but this is also externalized. And it's coming from different regions. So the cotton, rice, sugarcane, maize are also coming from outside the region. And where are they coming from? India, Central Asia, and America, mostly cotton related. And this is also a trend, something we're doing. For example, Turkey is externalizing its cotton water use through the other countries. And what are the major key insights? Agriculture is the major water used. What we can see that wheat and barley, and particularly in Turkey, can be really vulnerable to drought conditions, and under changing climate conditions, this can be really a significant sensitivity and vulnerability related to food security. And prominently, Turkey is the green water related activities is there in agriculture. When we look at this Iran, we talk about it mostly on blue water. And what we see that the difference between water withdrawn for the agriculture in the region and water footprint is actually 1/3 of it, the water. So there is actually 3 times more water withdrawn. Two-thirds of the water withdrawn for agriculture is lost through the system or mismanagement or maybe focus on management techniques. This shows us lots of efficiency on the system and then between the withdrawal and the consumption of the water. Of course, it can never be 1:1, but this expectation was lower, and this ratio, like we see, there's almost 70% of the water that is withdrawn is not used by the agriculture, but lost in somewhere else. This is we talked about, and there are things in the regional dynamics. If you look at that one, Turkey and Iran are mostly self-dependent, self-sufficient in water demand for their resource, for their production activities, for their economies. But when you look at this, Iraq's, Lebanon, and Jordan must really externalize their water footprint, and they're dependent on their food security, and water demand is really externalized, almost is 80 to 90%, because of course we know that Jordan resources they're not available much. There's not much water. There's a water scarce countries, highly water scarce countries, and the land is scarce as well here. Wheat, I told about it. It's like they really externalized it recently. And rice is the similar. Soybean and maize. This is it's about food and for the feed for the animals. So it's the calorie intake, the protein intake. This actually dependency come from one country 70 to 100%. And this is interesting. This is a trend of increasing in recent years. And textiles, it's interesting. Turkey is one of the most famous textile producing countries, but it is external water demand on the cotton supply is really externalized to other countries, mostly in Central Asia and US. So what is recommended? What is needed further steps is that there is a drought and climate change need assessments on how agriculture and how this crop yields can change in terms of per river basin is needed, and this also why there are so many differences between the water productivities. This can be further assessed, and capacity building farmers is the key, and some reduction targets can be introduced per regional agroeconomic zones. And there we always also there are lots of data problems in terms of production yield in the region. Although we try to find and making a coherent one framework, there are still problems in collection, and so some data is not available because of the regional conflicts and also unpublished data. So enhanced water data collection can really help the region as well. Early warning and prediction systems for the agriculture for avoiding the losses furthermore, that is really can help the region. And thank you very much. If you have any questions, I'm more than welcome to some questions.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ersin, for these very interesting insights. I think it's an excellent preparation now for the panel discussion that we will have. I would like to ask you, please, Mr. Ersin, to stay online as we now transition to the panel discussion, which is entitled Strengthening Cooperation and Trust Through a Transboundary WIFI Approach. WIFI, it's Water, Energy, Food, Ecosystem Nexus. I think you really prepared the ground very well now for this discussion, and now we would like to speak with the panelists about their takeaways from this study, and how do they think to integrate it in their national water management strategies, but also what does this study mean for the regional cooperation. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, first of all, 2 members of the Blue Peace Management Committee. I would like to invite, first of all, His Excellency, Mr. Mohammad Madim Faraz Amin, to the stage. He serves as an advisor to the Iraqi president and has previously held a seat in the Council of Representatives of Iraq. He has a notable 20-year tenure as the General Director of Water Resources. He has extensive management experiences, and he has also effectively represented Iraq and the Kurdistan region in various international conferences and committees. His Excellency, please come to the stage. And then I would also like to welcome Dr. Tukba Evrim Maden. She is the Policy Development Coordinator at the Turkish Water Institute. Ms. Maden has led the Blue Peace Middle East Coordination Office from 2019 to 2022 in Istanbul and has been a member of the Turkey-Iraq Joint Permitting Committee on Water since its establishment in September 2023. I would also like to welcome on the stage two representatives, two youth ambassadors of Blue Peace. So first of all, Mrs. Hilba Mohammed. She has a PhD. She is a PhD candidate at the Department of Civil Engineering, Architecture, Territory Environment, and Mathematics at the University of Brescia in Italy. Mrs. Mohammed is an ambassador and a fellow of the Blue Peace Middle East Youth Fellowship Program. She's also the proud founder of the Syrian Youth Parliament of Water and the coordinator of the Mediterranean Youth Task Force. Then I would also like to welcome Ms. Samar Al-Kredi. She is an international relations graduate with a postgraduate degree in strategic studies, security and defense policies, and a master's degree in international relations and diplomacy. Ms. Al-Kredi is actively involved in addressing water-related challenges in the Middle East by promoting sustainable water management and fostering regional coordination through her role as Youth Ambassador for Blue Peace Middle East. Welcome. And last but not least, Ambassador Christian Frutiger. He is the Vice Director of the Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation and the head of the thematic cooperation divisions where water activities such as the Blue Peace Initiative is situated. So, welcome to all of you and thank you very much for participating in this panel. I would like to first address His Excellency Mr. Mohammed Madim Faris Amin. And I would like to hear from you, sir, how might the insights from this water footprint study be incorporated into Iraq's national water management strategies to enhance overall water efficiency?
Okay, good morning. Thank you very much. So, water footprint assessment promotes us to consider the end user and purpose of the freshwater use, measure the amount of the water consumed, both directly and indirectly, and water polluted during the entire life cycle of the product or activity. That would allow for effective and fair water distribution within the ecology sustainable limit at both of the national and the river basin scale. So the waterfront, as Dr. Esri mentioned in his presentation, that water footprint study depends on the data for 2012 to 2021. So for 1 year's average measurement data and for 10 years also. To understand the situation of the water resource in Iraq, we have to know the situation of the water resource, as Dr. mentioned also in his presentation, that about 46% of the water come from the neighboring country, come from the Iran and Turkey. So we have two rivers, Tigris and Euphrates rivers, that most of the water come from neighboring country, and also we have the other source of water, the groundwater. Most of the water, about 80% of the water in Iraq, they're using for the irrigation. That we are sorry to say that still we are using the traditional way, open canal for irrigation. So we have evaporation, we have of the water. So to apply to and establish the footprint principle, we have to establish, we have different projects in the Iraq. First project that it was in the Blue Peace Initiative, the capacity building. We sent our staff, our technical staff in Turkey, we have our trainer, our engineers, that trained to establish, to apply, and to construct the new irrigation project, and to establish the new techniques, the new technology to be used in the irrigation. And we have also now started the Ministry of Water Resource with the collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture to prevent some crops to be cultivating. There are some crops that need too much water, like rice. As you know, the rice is the people in the Middle East, in the neighboring countries, they like rice, but we prevent it to be cultivating because they need huge amount of water. The other programs that we already started to change the open canal to closed canal, and also we open it to use the pipe and also the water harvesting. So I think my time is finished. We have other points to be mentioned, but thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We hopefully come back to you. So I would like to pass the floor now to Ms. Hiba Mohammed. Given Syria's position in shared river basins, how do you think the younger generation can play a role in promoting transboundary water cooperation based on the study's finding?
Thank you very much for the question. The study highlights the interdependencies of countries like Syria on shared water resources and emphasizes the importance of cooperative strategies for sustainable water management. Young generations can bring fresh perspectives and innovative solutions to foster communication and collaboration between the countries. For instance, given the high reliance on rain-fed agriculture, joint efforts between Turkey, Syria, and Iraq to address drought management and mitigation strategies, that these countries share similar climate challenges, so addressing the drought management and mitigation strategies could be beneficial for them. In addition, the study highlighted that countries like Jordan and Lebanon have extremely high external water dependencies, could reach to 100% for some certain crops. This reliance put the region at a greater risk for external events like a drought in supplier countries. Therefore, cooperative strategies and exploring mitigation strategies for such episodes could be crucial for the Middle Eastern countries. Us as a Blue Peace Middle East youth ambassadors, we are promoting a water scholars network that bring together scientists and researchers from the Blue Peace Middle East countries to sit together to address these challenges and identify potential synergies and innovative solutions through digital platforms to encourage a shared vision of water resource management that extends beyond the national borders.
Thank you very much for these suggestions, and I'm sure we can come also back to this and see also what are the insights from the other panelists on this collaboration potential. So I would like to move on to Ambassador Frutiger. You're from the Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation. I would like to hear from you, how does this water footprint study contribute to Switzerland's strategy for promoting water diplomacy and also sustainable development in the Middle East?
Thank you very much. Well, it significantly does inform Switzerland's strategy to advance water diplomacy and sustainable development in the region. So by analyzing water usage patterns, identifying stress points, and understanding the impact of human activities on water resources, Switzerland can tailor targeted policies, capacity building efforts, and collaborative initiatives. For instance, the study highlights divergent water footprints among countries, suggesting the adoption of sustainable water management practices and technological solutions for more efficient water use. So leveraging these disparities, Switzerland can also promote dialogue, data sharing, and joint initiatives through the Blue Peace Middle East program. Additionally, the study's insights can inform climate resilience and adaptation strategies in agriculture, as we've seen, which is predominantly the major water user, aligning with SDC's new regional strategy. It is evident that the Middle East is highly vulnerable to the effects of climate change. But most importantly, and beyond what Switzerland can do, is what the countries themselves can take from the study and the concrete measures that can be taken, as we've just heard from Iraq.
Thank you very much. Dr. Tugwa Evrimadon, the study reveals that Turkey plays a significant role in water dynamics in the region, both with regards to rain-fed production, but production in agriculture, but also part of irrigation. It's important also provider for the region. So how can Turkey leverage the position to foster collaboration approaches to water management in the region?
Thank you very much. Turkey plays a crucial role in addressing the significant water challenges in the region. And first of all, I have to say regional cooperation is important for the effective and the efficient use of water management to overcome these challenges. And Turkey, with its extensive experience in the water efficiency and the integrated water resources management, particularly in sectors like agriculture and industry, can lead collaborative efforts by sharing its strategies, such as the water efficiency campaign, and promoting practices that enhance resilience and adaptation to climate change across the region. And in addition to the agriculture sector, water is used in the industrial sector is also increasing. Industrial water efficiency practices are gaining importance due to their environment, economic, and the public health benefits. In our country, various studies focusing on the European Green Deal and the European Union's clean production techniques and resource efficiency are being conducted under the scope of industrial water use efficiency. And as you know, at the beginning, Blue Peace Middle East, one of the aim is the building trust and support the dialogue between the among the countries, parties. Our cooperation on water with Iraq is a great example in that context. Our collaboration, which is based on the effective and efficient use of water, has been further strengthened by the Water Cooperation Agreement signed this year. This agreement has solidified the commitment to water investments, including the strengthening of water infrastructures and the implementation of the modern irrigations with Iraq. Turkey can lead efforts to enhance water efficiency, strengthen legal framework, and develop adaptive strategies to combat the impacts of climate change. Through with the initiative Blue Peace in the Middle East, Turkey exemplifies how effective and efficient use of transboundary water resources can benefit all countries in the regions, turning shared challenges into opportunities for collective growth and resilience. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think you mentioned some important practices both in agriculture as well as in the industry, which can increase the efficient use of water. So I'm coming now to you, Mrs. Samar Al-Kredi. Having listened to the other panelists and based on the water footprint study, what innovative approaches do you think Lebanon could adopt to improve its domestic water management and to reduce external dependencies?
Yeah, so talking about Lebanon, there are a lot of water challenges like any other Middle Eastern country. However, in Lebanon, there is a lot of external dependency on water, as you just saw. In order to move forward to better improve Lebanon's domestic water management and to reduce this external dependency, I would say there are a lot of approaches. Some of them aren't that innovative, but they are essential because we have to start with the basics. If we look at what consumes most of the water in Lebanon, I would say not me. Actually, research says it's agriculture. So why not start with going to modern technologies for better agricultural practices? And then, aside from this agricultural sector, looking at the industrial and domestic sectors, we can see that those two sectors contribute hugely to the great water in Lebanon. 78% of the grey water in Lebanon is by the industrial sector, and none of this water, almost none, is being recycled or reused. So I would think this would be a very good start point. Another thing to consider is the rain harvesting. I was in a session yesterday and someone from the Ministry of Lebanon was talking that it's too costly, we cannot do it. But there are traditional practices that we can start with. After all, every drop counts, so why not start with that? Another thing would be to raise the public awareness. I'm Lebanese, and before joining Blue Peace, I had little to no awareness on where the country is going. So I think we should start with the public, not only the farmers. Everyone is contributing to this, so this should be moved forward. Back to the study, I think the government has a responsibility to develop policies both to understand and manage the virtual trade water in Lebanon. A lot of crops are being produced in Lebanon without studying the exact cost of water consumed for this product. So we're somehow wasting our water, and there is no cooperation among countries for better sustainability of water, noticing the footprint assessment in the 6 countries of our region. This is one very important point. Another thing that would come to mind is, of course, the desalination using maybe solar panels, because our capital, Beirut, is a very high scarce area in Lebanon. So why not benefit from its coastal positioning to desalinate water and maybe somehow reduce the demand for fresh water in this area? Another very important thing we are suffering from in Lebanon is water pollution, surface water pollution, and finally the data collection. So I think those are all points we can work on.
Thank you very much. I think you mentioned both actions that can be taken by Lebanon itself, but you also mentioned the importance of cooperation across the region. So I would like to go back to you, Ms. Hiba Mohammed. The study emphasizes now the importance of taking a holistic approach to water management. And now from a youth perspective, how can we encourage cross-sectoral collaboration to address water, energy, and food system challenges?
If we go back to the study that was just presented, the study highlights the touches on the footprints of different sectors such as agriculture, industry, and energy. However, it doesn't incorporate these findings into addressing how the competing demand of such sectors could affect the regional cooperation on the long term. For instance, the heavy water use for energy production, especially for oil and gas, in Iran could be competing and conflicting with agricultural water demands in the neighboring country of Iran that share water with it. Therefore, addressing these challenges of the competing demand and conflicting demand of different water sectors within the country itself and among the country of the region is quite crucial. And to do so, we have to do a holistic analysis that identify these competing demand and as well the synergies that could be done to build on them. From the perspective of the youth, by the end of our fellowship, we reached a point to develop a project proposal that aims at developing and implementing the Wi-Fi Nexus approach into several projects. The Wi-Fi Nexus approach highlights the security of water, energy, food, and ecosystem resources in the region in a way that it will maximize the synergies and minimize the trade-offs of the region. And we did that given the fact that, and the knowledge built through the fellowship, that these sectors shouldn't be working in silos, as we see in some different countries of the region, but they should be working together, given that they are already interconnected by nature. So water is crucial for food, and without food and agriculture sector, it's probably the industrial sector could be, or the energy sector could be suffering somehow. So there is a certain high level of interconnection and interconnectedness between them. And also we saw during our fellowship different youth-led activities done in Jordan that highlights these interconnections between the different sectors through different initiatives led by the youth to co-create projects together through policy forums, hackathons, or community projects like the hydroponics to highlight these connections and interconnectedness between the different sectors.
Thank you very much. I think you mentioned two important points. On the one side, the competition that might happen for water between sectors, but then also the interconnectiveness and the need, therefore, to really take a holistic approach. And I think something now we are pushing within Blue Peace Middle East is really to take this WIFI approach, this water, energy, food, ecosystem, nexus approach, which really helps to bring the different sectors together at one table and to discuss a holistic intervention. So I come back to you, Ambassador Frutiger. So based on the study's findings, what opportunities do you see for enhancing the regional dialogue and also the cooperation on water-related issues?
Thank you. Well, I make 3 points here beyond what has already been said. So first, data sharing and transparency. So it's not just data collection, it's also about sharing the data. The study highlights disparities in water use efficiency of the countries in the region. So Blue Peace Middle East could establish a regional data sharing center to integrate existing data and facilitate connections between data producers and users, enhancing water resource management. The second, benchmarking and peer learning. So the disparities in water footprints across the countries provide a good opportunity for benchmarking and peer learning. Efficient water users like Turkey could share strategies and technologies with others, promoting mutual learning and capacity development. Blue Peace Middle East can facilitate peer-to-peer exchanges and encourage successful water management model replication. Then third, targeted investment. The disparities highlight the need for investment and financial support to enhance water use efficiency in the region. So Blue Peace Middle East has the potential to collaborate with international partners, creating innovative financing mechanisms like regional water funds or performance-based incentives to help finance the adoption of water-efficient irrigation technologies, crop diversification, and other sustainable practices. And what we have heard is that not all of them have to be outrageously expensive. So there are also quick wins which can lead to a quite significant impact.
Thank you. So Ms. Samar Al-Kredi, Mr. Frutiger just mentioned opportunities for sharing data, but also for promoting peer learning. So now from your side, your perspective as a youth ambassador, what opportunities do you see for cross-border knowledge sharing and the collaboration among young water professionals in the region?
By now, you should all know that the core mission of Blue Peace is cross-border cooperation. But what is cross-border cooperation if there's no knowledge sharing? As my colleague Heba already mentioned, we are working as youth ambassadors on creating a regional hub for scholars, water scholars, young ones, where we can join all of the experts on water in the region on the same hub. Not only to exchange ideas, but to work also on mutual research, case studies, to come up with innovative solutions for WIFI Nexus. This hub will be like a platform, a virtual think tank, a knowledge-sharing database, and a forum to discuss innovative ideas for challenges, water-related challenges in our region. Additionally, okay, we targeted the young professionals, but what about the youth interested in water? We are starting bottom up. We are trying to create a community of water experts in the region. So we thought of establishing university chapters focused on sustainable transboundary water management, where we will create opportunities for youth interested in water to better build their capacities, like have even competitions to push forward innovative ideas when it comes to water. Another thing would be to build exchange programs among those universities so we can better build a better future for our water in the region.
Thank you very much. I think that are very concrete ideas to take forward. So I would like to come back to you, Dr. Tukba Evrin Madan. You mentioned in your first intervention the experience that Turkey has in water efficiency technology. Could you provide us a little bit more about these opportunities that you see for enhancing water use efficiency across different sectors, agriculture, but also industrial sectors?
Yeah, thank you. As all of us mentioned, the agriculture is the largest consumer of water in the region. It's nearly 80%, 85%. For the irrigation. Given the challenges posed by the climate change, such as reduced water availability and altered rainfall patterns, there is a critical need for more efficient and effective water use in agriculture. Turkey, where agriculture accounts nearly 77% of total water consumption, has made significant strides in transition to modern irrigation systems and to conserve water. And additionally, Turkey has established the principle of agriculture per water available as a national policy focusing on sustainable water management in agriculture through strategies like crop pattern adjustment, land consolidation, and the use of high technology in irrigation. The amount of the water that can be allocated to the irrigation sector under the agriculture per water availability policy varies between 3,000 and 11,000 per hectare in our basins. These data are also taken into account in the ongoing planning of plant production. A few years ago, under the Blue Peace Middle East field trip was held to Portugal, and all of us witnessed in Portugal the amount of water per was 3,000 to 3,500 by the implementation of modern technologies with suitable plans. And also, at the beginning of the new era of the Blue Peace, as SWAN and the partner countries, with this awareness, the first project we carried out under this title, Disseminating Knowledge to Improve Agricultural Water Use Efficiency in the Middle East, involved publishing a training manual and reports that highlight water efficiency and solutions in the regions. Additionally, like His Excellency mentioned, we organized training sessions and field trips with experts from the partner countries. And clearly, business as usual in irrigation will not be the option for most countries seeking to overcome the challenges they face. As a result of our studies, the first and most important is good water governance. This is underpinned by strong formal institutions and workforces that is well informed on modern irrigation practices. Second is the embrace innovative technologies and management practices that support modernization. Third is implementing integrated solutions at scale to make best use of the limited resources. Fourth is long-term investment. And finally, working together for common solutions will be an essential element of success. It means continuing to work together on shared problems as the Blue Peace Initiative is already promoting. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So to wind up these panel discussions, I would like to ask you, Excellency Mr. Mohammed Amin Faris Amin, how do you think can the water footprint approach contribute to building trust and cooperation in regional water management?
Okay, so I think it's the most important question because without the trust we cannot work together. I think the trust is the key aspect of the water resource cooperation. But also it is very difficult to be established in the country, in the regional country, because we have a long history on the conflict, long history of the conflict on the water resource, long history of the conflict on other resources. So it is very difficult, and sometimes the country will not agree to share the data. That is, so the sharing the data is very important, especially for the country as a downstream like Iraq. We need to share data. We need the data because some time we will affect by the flood control, sometime will affect by the drought. So it's very necessary. Even I think it's necessary to share the data inside the countries themselves, between the government, between the region. It's very necessary, and the data it have to be available for the people, for the universities, for the scientific to benefit from it. So for this, to establish the trust, I think as a regional country, we have to focus on some project that we all agree on it. So as example, as the Blue Peace can study that we have a different project with Turkey, like joint technical dams or joint dam at the border. It can be a project because we all agree on it. It makes the trust between each other, between the country. And the other project, like capacity building also, the changing data, the changing idea also build that trust. I think the Blue Peace initiative did many things, at least the meeting, the sharing data, that we send some the data, all the country shares the data, and it builds the trust between the country.
Thank you very much. I see there are a lot of opportunity actually to enhance the cooperation from data sharing over to joint projects, capacity building efforts. So now with this, I would like to move on to the next part, which is the Q&A session. But I don't want to do this before really thanking you for all your insight and sharing the experiences, and congratulating you also for your engagement and commitment with the Blue Peace Middle East initiative. So please, an applause for our panelists. So now the floor is yours. You're the audience here in the room, but also online. So please ask your question. I would like to ask you maybe to indicate your name and also the institution and title where you come from. And if possible, if you could also mention to whom you would like to address the questions. Okay. Is there a microphone? Yes. Okay, good.
Good morning, everybody. I am Mutawakkil Ubaida, the Water Diplomacy Center Director, Jordan University of Science and Technology. My question is directed to Ertuk. It goes around the grey water footprint. Could you elaborate more about this part of the water footprint in terms of the polluted water bodies, in particular the transboundary water? Thank you.
Okay. May I ask you, Dr. Ertuk, to respond? Are you still there? Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still here, but it's sometimes cut off. So I couldn't understand the first part of the question. Can you repeat the question again? It's about grey water footprint, right?
Okay. About the grey water, yeah?
Yes, the question is about the grey water footprint. Could you elaborate more about the polluted water bodies, in particular the transboundary waters? Thank you.
Yeah. So this is a more grey water footprint is about how much water is needed to actually take all the contaminants into the standards that is allowable. So it's about a bit of virtual number, not actually how much is water polluted. It's more on the impact side. So in this study, grey water footprint showed how much water is needed to assimilate all these contaminants that are put in the systems through the agricultural activities. From the transboundary perspective, this study we didn't address that much. What I mean is how much is transferred from one country to another in the downstream, upstream parts. The reason is we didn't do this per river basin. It can be done on a river basin as well to understand this. In general, what we see is agriculture is phosphate and nitrogen is the main problem, and which is through the fertilizers and pesticides that are put in the systems. Of course, with the different, in general, what you can see, this is something can be further elaborated in the region, is that there are so many pesticides and fertilizer type of use, which have different chemical compositions. And each chemical composition has a different effect in terms of water pollution. There's also the transfer of this pollution to the groundwater diffusal and also on the surface water further to the downstream. And this is to be understood because sometimes, because of economic reasons, some pesticides and fertilizers that are given to the systems are really, really impactful, negatively impactful to this water. And there are some which is actually having the same reason to give to the agriculture has lower effect. And this kind of studies we have done in different countries, but not in this region, can be done in this region to understand which chemicals are more harmful, and also from the transboundary perspective, what is the downstream upstream flow of these contaminants.
Okay, thank you very
this
much.
is brief letters if I'm clear enough. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Ertug. Yeah, I think it's a huge topic and also quite a complicated one. So, is there another question in the room? Yes, please.
Hello, my name is North, and I'm working as a researcher at Fraunhofer Research Institute in Germany. I'm also from Jordan. I left Jordan 5 years ago to do my master's, and it really brings me a lot of joy to see that we have such an initiative now in the region. Thank you for the great discussion. I don't have one question specific to one of the panelists, so anyone who would like to answer. So what we know so far is that agriculture is the main water user and the main water consumer, and the agriculture sector is pretty dominant. So many speakers talked about the need for new ideas and for innovation in the sector. But I believe that young people are key to bringing innovation. And since many young people are actually leaving farming, what is being done or you think should be done to make agriculture more attractive to the youth?
Okay.
Thank you.
Maybe this goes to you as youth ambassador. Who would like to respond?
Do you want to talk about our project?
Yeah.
This is actually a great question. We've been working on this in our pilot project. The one mentioned in the documentary in Iraq would be like a pilot project jointly done in a university where we will be modernizing agriculture, where not only farmers will be part of this, but also youth graduates of this university. It will be some kind of integration between the younger and the older generations to make agriculture move a step forward in our region, to make it more modernized and more water efficient.
Do you want to add something?
Yeah, as it was mentioned earlier, that we aim as well through the fellowship to establish university chapters among the younger generation, to attract the younger generation to cases like the water cooperation and water diplomacy in the region. This will focus on highlighting the importance of water in different sectors, in addition to, with focus, let's say, on the agriculture sector. So this will mean that these chapters will serve as a grassroots initiatives to work with the young generation in agricultural area where the land is inherited generation after generation. Not only to use the traditional methods that they used to see their fathers and the grandfathers using in their lands, but also to foster climate-smart agriculture, for example, irrigation-efficient mechanisms or devices, equipment. So all these initiatives aim to attract the young generation to the agriculture sector, to be not only the traditional one that we used to see, the most consumer of water resources, but to shift it to a more efficient and effective in terms of water utilization.
Okay, thank you very much, and congratulations on the initiatives. So.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, let's not forget the competitions that we're willing to have between those chapters in order to foster more innovative technology that are youth-built. So this is one thing I wanted to add. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Anybody else? Unfortunately, I cannot see you, but I hope the people at the mic. Yeah, okay, good.
Good morning. My name is Solomon. I'm from South Africa. I'm the Chief Executive of the Val Orange Catchment Management Agency. My question is quite general. Maybe His Excellency on the panel will be able to assist me on this one. Now, how are the initiatives that are derived from the Blue Peace getting embedded into government policy for implementation? Thank you.
Excellency, may I give you this question?
How would help it?
How it's, I understand, yeah.
Yes, so the initiative of the Blue Peace, we established this 2010, and all of the countries, neighboring country, is participated in the initiative. So it is very useful for us because at least we'll collect the people, different country will be in the same initiative. That already we have a cooperation between each other, and we have a negotiation regarding the water resource that already we started. As Iraq, we started the negotiation regarding the water resource with the neighboring country, with Turkey, with Syria many years ago, and it already is continue now. And the initiative share that we share the data with the initiative and share data regarding some project. As I mentioned before, that we have a different project. It can be studied in the initiative like joint technical dam. So it supports the country in the negotiation regarding the water resource.
Thank you. Anyone else? Or then over there. Mm-hmm.
Hello, my name is Ashley Cafton, and I'm a program manager at Chemonics International. And I'm not quite sure who this question would be best posed to, so I'll leave it open. You had mentioned that one of the largest contributors towards the gray water issue is industry. So I know you talked a lot about agriculture through the various talks today, but are there any initiatives or attempts to partner with different industries in the region to either reduce the amount of pollution that they put out, or to have any sort of collaborative partnerships between agriculture, construction, et cetera, to have a not just focus on the agriculture aspects of the water issues in the Middle East, but more expansive throughout the different sectors?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe that's a question for you, Dr. Madan. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for the agriculture, yeah, we support the modern irrigation techniques as I expressed before. But as you mentioned, yeah, for the other sectors, the investment is so important. With the projects, maybe with the common projects, with the investment agreement like Turkey and Iraq signed a few months ago, can support this kind of investment and projects. But you are right, in the water sector, tangible steps is not taken easily. And one of the problem is the mindset. The other problem is the investment problem. And it's not for our region, it's general for all around the world. So with trying to find the investment, but of course, you know, the feasibility of the projects is also important. Not every project for everywhere. It must be tailor-made. So with the investment, it can be much more easier. And like these initiatives, like Blue Peace and the other initiatives like these, always find them. Of course, it's not an umbrella finding a financial, but creating the ideas, sometimes supportive financial ideas. So this kind of initiatives work for it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So I guess we also have questions from the virtual audience.
Okay, thank you so much. We have a question to the panelist and to His Excellency Mohammed Amin Faris. How the figure of the study be translated into changes in the policy, economic practices in all the Middle East countries?
So if I come to Iraq, of course, we benefited from the study. As I mentioned before, we benefited inside of the footprint of the Blue Peace. We prevent the Ministry of Water Resource, with the cooperation with the Ministry of Agriculture, we prevented to cultivating some crop, as is mentioned, like rice, like other crop. And also we benefited from that Blue Peace initiative. We benefited that we, as a ministry, we are revising the study of the water strategy of water resource and land in Iraq. So that study is done before 10 years ago, and now we are revising, so we benefit from it to bring some idea as a climate change and other idea with the study of the water strategy.
Okay, maybe there is time for one more question. Is there one more from the audience?
We have another one as well. Again, they're asking about what are the strategy has Iraq government developed to address and plan for the water needs in the future? And I think you have already addressed this question.
Yes.
Yeah, those.
So I mentioned that we have the study of the water strategy, water resource and land, and we are revising that strategy, and also the contract is already with one of the famous contract international company as, and we are ongoing project. Thank you.
Okay, one more in the room. Is there one last question, the last opportunity? Yeah, I see their hand over there. Or okay, there was one up there. Okay.
Thank you very much. My name is Dr. Florence Tanui, and I'm the Program Officer Science in UNESCO Regional Office of East Africa. My question is towards, anybody can answer, but it is looking into whether the project is going to initiate a data sharing framework for the region, because we have seen from the discussions that without data, then the trust and cooperation may be ambiguous in the region. Thank you.
Who would like to take this question? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
If I may say that the project proposal focuses on the Wi-Fi Nexus approach. So the Wi-Fi Nexus approach integrates and focuses on the security of water, energy, and food and ecosystem as well. So without the data sharing of different of these sectors among within the state itself and among the countries, it would be kind of a bit challenging to implement this project. So our aim to implement the project in one of the universities that serves as a hub, let's say, for data collection, in a way that this project will be the pilot for the students to learn and get hands-on practice on the methodologies that we are proposing, as well to link the university effectively with the ministerial ministries and the ministerial bodies that collect the data by their own. So we will have two types of data coming from the very official sources and the data coming from those who are practicing online. And these data would be challenged in both ways, and with the neighboring country in a way that we assure that this project will be replicable and sustainable for the future.
Thank you very much. I think that's a really good vote at the end of this panel discussion, and thank you all for your active participation. So unfortunately, time is up and we have to close here the session. So I really hope you enjoyed this session and gained through the presentation and also the discussions a deeper understanding of transboundary water management, as well as trust building, and how trust building can foster sustainable cooperation and peace beyond the water management itself. As you will have gathered, the whole aim of Blue Peace Middle East is to catalyze long-term partnership, to strengthen water security, and to support the equitable distribution of resources, laying thereby the foundation for lasting peace in a region which we all know, like many other regions, is faced by water stress and related tensions. I'm delighted that this session has succeeded, hopefully, in illustrating the theme of this year's World Water Week by demonstrating that water plays a positive role in promoting collaboration and cooperation between, but also within nations. I think efforts must continue, however, because nothing can ever be taken for granted. And I believe that one of the strengths of Blue Peace Middle East is precisely that it engages also the younger generation who will carry on this commitment in the years to come. So we really count on you. And this, one must say, and it has been mentioned, I think, in this session, this in face of growing challenges with pressure on water becoming more and more important, competition among sectors, but also facing the impacts of climate change. So it only remains for me to extend my warmest thanks to our panelists, but also to you, the audience here in the room, but also online, And I wish you all an excellent continuation and fruitful discussions at this World Water Week. So thank you very much for your participation.